Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning on Bortopla TV. You have made the right choice. Today I have visited the young man you see in the front of our camera. So we can just have a very brief conversation about what he's doing. He is very courageous. He's doing an amazing job to the community, and he's gonna share with us all few of what he's doing. Before we start, I would like to request him to introduce to our viewers. Then from there we continue.
Well, thank you so much, Museveni, for this interview.
Yes.
Really, I'm not taking it lightly because I love conversing, and it's a great thing to be part of this.
Yes.
And for Botopna to give me this chance, it's something amazing.
Yeah.
So I go by the name Jean-Marie Ishimwe. I am the chairperson and partnership leads of Voices Community, which is a refugee-led organization based in Umoja. And primarily it supports education programs for refugees and vulnerable communities.
Okay.
The biggest for it is the advocacy that it does. It does a lot of advocacy on refugee issues, on through events, and being part of certain meetings and forums that amplify refugee voices.
Yes.
Other than that, I'm so creative. I love creating, and so I've been doing so much around that.
Yeah.
So recently I founded a media initiative called Naweza. It does a lot with promoting the conversations or supporting the conversation between the host and the refugees with respect to building initiatives and growing initiatives that supports these communities.
Yeah.
So, and other than that, I'm also a student, a journalism and media studies student at the University of Nairobi main campus.
Yeah.
But I also do so much other things.
Yeah, again, here this place I found you. It's
Yeah.
very different
From what-
of
yes.
all those you have mentioned.
I do so much things.
Tell us about this also.
Well, so this is this space is called Sifter Space.
Yes.
I have been in this space for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a coexisting and interesting space where youths, Kenyans, and basically any person can come to this space and really go through that process of thinking about different ideas, how to coexist, how to be part of a community of sharing ideas. So this is what the space stands for.
Okay.
Anything around technology, it does that. But it also do a co-working space. So I have a space here that I do my things, but also help the community here with a lot of community development projects and supporting their communication. Yeah.
You guys, that is Jean-Marie. He's very involved in many activities.
I try.
That's how he's passionate to serve the community.
Yeah.
As you've heard, he has mentioned it all. I can't even remember or repeat what he have finished to say. But he's very, very courageous guy. But today I want also to focus on YVC, Youth Voices Community, the one you started mentioning.
Yeah.
Tell us about when did you start it as YVC?
So YVC started in 2016.
Yes.
That's approximately 5 years ago, and it started with refugee youths who felt that it was high time that we start discussing about the issues that we face. Really, there was no voice here. There's no voice from refugees, particularly youths.
Yeah.
So we started it to promote those voices of refugees, to be able to just come up with ways to converse with different refugees stakeholders on some of the things they can do to resolve some of the barriers that are there. Say it's in education, if it's limited scholarships, or it's issues on documentation, or it's issues with participation and those kind of things. So Your Voices started like that in 2016, but we were able to successfully register it in 2019. So that was like after 3 years, say.
Yeah.
But all that time we've been working in meetings, like organizing events, being parts of different meetings that embody the refugee aspect of conversing and voices.
Yeah.
So that's majorly what we were doing. But it's registered in we started in 2016, registered it in 2019.
Yeah. So I see something you wear on your hands.
Yes.
It is how many flags? I think. Can you tell us about it?
The flags are how many? There are only two flags.
Two flags.
Yeah.
What does it mean for you?
Well, interesting. So one is the Kenyan flag, and the other one is the Rwandan flag. Both of them are my identities. They are my identity. So I've been in Kenya. I've been raised in Kenya, and Kenya has been receptive to me and receptive to so many other nationals, particularly refugees. So, and I love the vibe of people. I love the caring bit of Kenyans. I love basically there's the love. There's sort of like a love and some good energy with being in Kenya. So you see so much things around. Like there's a lot of positive vibes about it, and the support to us basically has been great. Rwanda, really, it's with my identity as a Rwandan refugee. I'm from Rwanda.
You still remember and love home?
Yeah, I love home. I love Rwanda. Rwanda is it's a country that it's my mother. It's the mother country.
Your
So
motherland.
So I have it here. It always reminds me of where I am from.
Yes.
So I never forget that I am Rwandan as much as I am in Kenya, and I kudos to all the things that are happening there.
Yeah.
But just to say, that's me. I think I'm Kenyan. I think I'm Rwandan, and all that embodies who I feel I am. Like my identity would be not international, say, because I've been being a Rwandan and at the same time being.
So
in
I
Kenya.
said about this because I have seen many people from the refugee community.
Yeah.
Congolese, they wear Kenyan flag.
No, Kenyan is a vibe.
And Congolese,
Yeah.
whatever. So it shows
Support,
how loveful, how they love their country and also the country that received them. Huh?
Very much, very receptive. Kenya is very receptive and lovely.
Okay. Coming back to the topic, you were saying that YVC started some years back and you get registered in 2019.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
I have seen new faces comparing to the one I used to see when you were starting. What happened?
Well, so first things first, Your Voices has evolved to be a CBO that's responding to variety of issues in the community, including education and advocacy, also a bit of livelihoods with referring. But I know there's a connection. Yeah, we were
for some time.
A very big connection with the team. So what has happened is that the people we started the organization with, some went abroad. Some got other works that they started being involved in.
Yes.
Others just didn't feel. Others went to other things really.
Yes.
So as time goes by, you tend to find we have different people who are coming in. Again, for just to set the record says some of them come in because of the different projects we have. So you find that we've had to recruit someone or we had to include someone because of the value they want to add in the organization.
Then when those projects end,
they
continue their own
business. When the projects end, they would choose to continue or even leave.
Yeah.
For most of them, what it is appearing to be is that they are interested about the work that's happened there. In Umoja, we are doing a lot of, there's some work around supporting out of school refugees and Kenyans also. So we have a school there and we have a TSC teacher there. So everyone who comes in and feels that they want to make a difference in that sort of way, then they are included. But then whether they stay for after that, it's up to them. But the faces have been changing because of that context. People getting other things to do, and also other things coming to Your Voices.
So beside you guys starting Your Voices community, how can you tell people who are watching us right now who can just have a bit of the the picture of young refugees in Kenya? Are they involving in different initiatives? Can you tell about them?
Yes, I would love to speak on this because I think COVID-19 has played a big role. As much as it's been a problem, but it has also brought about the unity of refugees and the work that they do. And what we were able to see and what I've been able to be part of with YVC and other organizations, we came together, supported Kenyans and refugees during that difficult period. We didn't support them with our money,
yes,
but we came together to fundraise and got money to support them with food that would serve them for 3 days and so on. But now what I want to say specifically is that refugees are standing up. They are coming to, they're starting to believe that they're not just beneficiaries, but rather than change makers in the communities. So they don't want to feel that they are dependable on someone or dependable on a certain organization. And for a matter of fact, for so many of them in Kenya or in Nairobi, I would say, really trying so much to help themselves. So we've seen so many of them coming to that realization that nobody will ever address to your issues fully. There has to be a role you're playing, and that's what the refugees have been doing. That they've been doing so much with linking organizations with the work that's happening on the ground. A lot of organizations are doing things around livelihoods, around advocacy, around education. So what I would say is that it seems to be that it looks for me, and I love that, and it's very inspiration for me, is that every day refugees or refugee organizations are believing that they are not just beneficiaries of certain projects, or they're supposed to enjoy certain end products of certain projects.
They want to contribute.
They want to be part of the solutions that, yes, they want to be part of the solutions that they want and that they seek, really. So a lot of, I think it's something good. It's a resilience about it. But of course, there's a lot of issues around it. There's, again, for you voices, it took us more than 3 years to apply for registration. Of course,
so actually, I was coming to that point. It's very many people might have ideas on starting different initiatives to solve some problems around them, but it's a bit tricky for them to get accepted so that they can work without any challenge.
Yes, I think.
How comes the issue of registering refugees initiatives?
Yes, I think our documents play a big role. The documents that refugees have are slightly different with what the Kenyans have, and so many in the Kenyan system or different institutes don't I wouldn't say recognize, but they don't have they don't have awareness of the documents we have, and to an extent,
is it because they don't, or it's ignoring
some of it would be ignoring, and also I think validation for it. Sometimes you show someone your document and they are like, okay, we don't know this document, what does this document mean, and that's like that kind of thing. But different organizations have been trying to start, educating the masses and educating the different institutions, which of course they should be knowing. These are the documents that they have. But really, in terms of registration, it's just like that. It's the nature of the documents we have. The documents we have are a bit unique and sometimes a barrier to certain services. Say, for example, you want to register an organization, you need to have a KRA PIN, you need to have of course, your ID, you will have it. But now speaking on for example, the KRA PIN, most of the refugees don't have a KRA PIN, a personal KRA PIN, because
to have a KRA PIN, you need to have a national ID.
You need to have a national ID
or a passport.
Yes, but right now through RAS, there's a way you can get a KRA PIN. But now a lot of refugees don't have that information, and also not just knowing, but the complexity of even accessing it. For you to get a KRA PIN as a refugee, there's so many complex processes that you have to go through. That why do you need it? What is it for? You see, like all that. So many refugees don't have. When you're going to register for an organization, they ask you because you need a bank account, of course. So they need a KRA PIN. Most banks are requesting for KRA PIN. So If you don't have a career pin, then it becomes hard for you. Of course, for the group career pin, you need to have people. And then for it really is, when you're registering that company, you want to own the company, you want to own that organization. And you don't want to afford to have other people register it for you on your behalf. And then
that issue also have been raised, that even, I don't know if it's because you don't have the proper document, but when you go to register as refugees, you are required for Kenyans to be the readers, like chairman, secretary, or the the leaders position, them to take. Then you ask yourself, I had the idea, I want to start this, but when it's registered under other people who are taking it, like all the positions, do you imagine, is it still yours, or your own property, or your own, is it copyright, is it something like a copyright?
Like,
it goes for that.
Do you own it really?
Also.
I think it's a good point to raise, and it's something that we've been facing, and we know. But I think looking at it objectively, we don't want to operate on a vacuum, really. We are not an island. We are refugees, but then we are part of the community. So this community has supported us, and so in any case, if you're going to be having any programs, then it would be great to have the host in it, which I totally don't think it's a bad thing. The only thing is that when you're forced to have certain people to be leaders of your organizations because they possess certain documents, that's when the problem comes in, because they don't share your dream, they don't share your vision. Even if they'll apply on your behalf, and they'll apply and then they are forced, they're installed there to be like the chairpersons or certain sort of that idea, then it's very hard for you to reach your vision. But I think having the host into the refugee organization is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. It's just the hardship with say how to access the different services. Of course, if you have a Kenyan the host into the organization, it's easier to register. It's easier to get those documents. It's easiest, but of course, really might be jeopardizing your ownership, really, if you look at it. But I think that it's something. It's something. Okay, what I would say, this is it.
Untouchable. We have to follow what is there.
Yeah, you just have to run with what is there. But I think more importantly, really, if you can get the carry pin as a refugee, and get it, if you need to have 3 of your members to have them to be signatories to the bank or to the registration, then if you can get them as 3 of you, all of you refugees, you can get it. You can apply, and you'll be able to apply for the registration. However, then the big, as I've mentioned, problem is that so many of the refugees don't have the documents, and it's hard to get it. So ultimately, you'll be forced to have, or you'll need to be willing to have Kenyans inside the project.
Okay, having Kenyans inside the project is not a problem.
It's not a problem.
The problem is them overtaking. So you are the one who had you created the idea, but you sit there like you've been
sidelined. You've been sidelined.
Yet it's you who had the idea, the vision of the organization. That's what is very tricky to.
That's the tricky part. That's the tricky part, really. You want to. You want to own the organization. You want to have your vision.
You had the vision and you started it. You welcomed others to join you so that you can work together. How it comes when all the positions, if someone is over you in a leadership position,
and it's your own organization.
You just advise, but yet it is you who that's the issue we are saying.
That's the issue.
What do you think can be done on this? Just your suggestion as Jean-Marie on this particular issue.
Okay, one thing about it. One, if I sincerely have an idea that I want to pursue, and I want to have an organization, I want to be able to run that initiative I want to do, then if I'm not able to register, to be part of the
all the process to register.
What I can do is find like-minded people, find hosts who you think.
Yeah.
You cannot always be certain that they are very faithful or trustworthy, but it's proving for the fact that we've been here for this time, being able to live with Kenyans. There are people you can check, and you can see that these people, you can allow them to be part, and you can share the same dream. I think, for a matter of fact, it doesn't disqualify you in any way, and I think even on the registration, they are not like very crystal clear that you have to have the host as the chairperson. That's not like that. From the experience I've had with registering, you can be the chairperson. You can actually be the lead. But then, more importantly to say is that the organizations that deal with refugees, let me not say the names, but we all know them. They should be able to allow refugees to access the KRA pins, or what I'd say the documents that they need to be able to be able to live in Nairobi or live in Kenya more sustainably, like really be able to apply for things and become successful in it. So if we have the KRA pins, that means then it's easier to apply, it's easier to do work, it's easier to get jobs, it's easier to get a bank account, and all those things. So it's a whole thing about the organizations really smoothening. Every time I speak about this, it's smoothen and give information on how refugees can access these important documents that they need, not just for registration, but sometimes also to get to work, to get employment, sometimes also to run your own initiative. Sometimes it's even employment. You need a KRA pin, you need a work permit. We all know that it's a bit of a task. It's something that you have to go back and forth. We have to find a way of making sure that the system is a bit more smooth. More smooth means that your refugees, if a refugee needs it, they're able to get that easily, and so that the opportunity that they got doesn't disappear from them. Take, for example, most people who are employing employers, maybe let me say that, employers send out invitations for job vacancies, and they don't really say that we want Kenyans or what. They just say we want people to apply for this. It's open. But then for example, you have someone in the system who is coming to apply.
Yet he's a refugee.
He's a refugee, and they need that person to have a KRA pin and have a work permit, and the person possesses the skills that the company needs or the organization needs. But then the fact that they don't have that on the onset, that the process has been made to look like you need to have a letter of offer from the employer so that you get so that you'll be able to get the KRA pin. Now, essentially, this is a difficulty, and this is a barrier, because what it does is that it's a concept that I would equate it to employing someone to learn on the job, or employing someone who already knows the job, or who knows the skill, who knows what to do in the job. Who would you pick? It's a question I'm asking. But then it's a very easy question, because then you wouldn't want to waste more time to teach someone the work, but rather give someone who already knows the work. So this is the same context. You have refugees applying for jobs that even Kenyans are applying, but then they are made to be unique because they need certain documents. And the document has to be written. We have to have a letter, and then that letter is taken to a certain... I think it should be very easy that, yes, I want to start applying for jobs. Can I get this document? And then this document should allow me to easily get, because you also need a bank account, which, of course, KRA pins allow you to do that. So more extensively, I would say we just need to have a smoothened way of how to get these documents. And the easier, the better, because then you don't lose on opportunities.
Yeah. Okay, reminding our viewers, this is Bortopla TV, and I'm Eric Museveni. We are we are giving space for refugees to share their opinions and also to share their experience, so that outside people who don't know what is going in can get to know, or can also do something about what they are going through. So coming up, those are the issues faced by people who want to register.
Yes.
So let's come up to those who managed to register, whatever ways it went through. But what are the how sustainable their initiatives are, and what also their challenges they face.
Yes,
Always.
yes. I think this is it's a discussion we could have up to tomorrow.
Yeah. So we can tackle. Let's start. I know it's
Yes,
a wide, very wide.
very much.
Wide.
I think it's a first thing. Congratulations to any refugee organization that has managed to register. But I would say maybe 3 or 2 main challenges.
Probably, we can.
So the first challenge is funding.
Yeah.
So most of these organizations depend on member saving and also little support or grants from different organizations. That's what most of them depend on. But then this funding is not, it's kidogo. Sio mingi sana. Ni kidogo sana. So that is to say that a lot of them have to struggle to find their way above because of the fact that the funding opportunity is limited. And that's true to everything, to everyone, to all organizations. So it's up to, often there's chance. So most of the people in these refugee organizations have to either work volunteer or work as volunteers or work part-time.
Because the organization can't
afford to pay the individuals sustainably.
Yeah.
Same thing to the office spaces. So they have an office space that they need to pay rent, they need to pay utilities
every month.
So that's a whole. It's costly. So and until you're able to get a proper funding, really, I would say refugees get even funding, but it's not proper funding.
Yes.
Proper funding, I mean, really a long-term and elaborate and flexible funding for them to be able to continue to do the work they do. Because the work they do is not for their own benefit entirely. It's a benefit of even the community.
Yeah. And when we say the community, it's both Kenyan and all host community and refugee community.
Yes, so meaning that whatever work they do is work that will support them, will support the community. Meaning that if they don't have funding to do that, they'll not be able to do that. It's very hard.
So funding is a challenge.
Funding is a big challenge.
Another challenge, do you think?
Another challenge, I think it's the connect between national NGOs and international NGOs. I think for a long time, refugees have been taken to enjoy the products of other organizations or other projects, and oftenly they are not taken as service partners. They are taken as people, beneficiaries, really.
Yeah.
So looking at the work they do versus how they are appreciated and how organizations appreciate that, it's a disconnect. That they are doing work in the community, but then you cannot appreciate that, really. However, I want to reiterate that organizations are starting up. Most of them, I can name a few, that are coming up to appreciate the work they are doing. Yeah. So that's a disconnect. So they're a bit of a disconnect with that.
They consider them as partners, not.
They should consider them as partners rather than beneficiaries
of their programs.
Yes. The other, I think, other challenge we have with in the organization, maybe on the context of the organization itself, is capacity, the different capacity, capacity building. So the organization in itself has different people who are visionary and want to advance their objectives and visions. But then sometimes we miss where we don't have support, or you don't have capacity building sessions with people who are already doing the work.
So that they can
the humanitarian
be more qualified
to
do the work they are doing.
Yes, to be able to be more qualified, then you need to have more exposure, more visibility, more opportunities, and more support to be able to be capacitated to run the works. And more importantly, I think they have objectives. We have objectives we run, and these objectives, you'd say they are in small scale because they are grassroots, right? But then for you to take them on a national level or on an international level, you need to get the concept and the idea of how it happens on that level. So a lot of capacity building opportunities should be availed to refugees so that they're able to learn how it works up there. Because from experience, what we see, what I always envision is that a small thing can come to be a big thing and can be the change of what the word seeks, right? I always say that little steps, even today morning I tapped that somewhere, at least little steps to moving big steps, right? Or big moves. So little steps, big moves. This is to say that a small thing in the community, in the grassroots initiative or idea, can grow to be a life-changing institution or idea if taken into consideration and if supported. So really meaning that we need to support, we need to find support, more support on how to be taken to that level. The other challenges that are there, of course, most of them are prior to registering, which is a hard thing. But I would say even maybe participation, engagement. But a big one is funding, really. Funding is the biggest.
Funding, capacity building, and also
yes,
the national organization taking the perception of taking refugee initiatives as beneficiaries of their programs.
Yeah, and mobilizers really. Some of them also want to use refugee organizations as mobilizers. You want to expand the partnership. Let it be that you believe there is value they are bringing into the partnership, right? So they should not just be people who will say, okay, this project needs us to mobilize, say, 1,000 vulnerable communities, and we need to mobilize that. No. It's about what is the right thing to do with the partnership. Can it be that there are more ideas that can be built from the partnership already existing?
What would you like to tell those refugees, readers or a representative of the initiatives for how they should respond? You know, maybe those big organizations, they have that in mind. They want to use them or their energies. But what would you like to request on the other side of refugees initiatives? What would you like to tell them to do?
One, I think. Are you good? So I think one, there has to be unity
among themselves.
Yes. We have to speak one voice. We have to support each other. And that's the basic, really. If we do that, then you'll be able to reach where we want. The problem we have is that we have disjointed sections of people who necessarily don't support others, but don't show interest in building a networked or unified refugee community. So I think it calls a lot of organizations, of these organizations, of us organizations, to be united more, so that if it means coming together as a consortium to apply for a funding or be able to get a partnership, then that is possible. You know? Because most of the time we have maybe correlating objectives together. So you do education for women, maybe I do education for children. But anyway, at the end of the day, it's education. So if maybe we would have come together, then we can apply for something bigger with our own visions and ideas. So I think it calls for a lot of that. It calls a lot of unity. It calls a lot of supporting each others. It calls a lot of information sharing. We also need to be able to share funding opportunities and information that are important to the organizations to be able to grow. It also calls for network opportunities. We need to be able to network each other. To maybe if I know someone who can support an organization, let's network. Let's give them that platform to network. They also need to expand their voice. we need to be able to expand our voice, just rather than...
Of course, once people came together, they can study or share as one in one how what they can do.
Yes.
I think the main thing you mentioned is
Coming
to
together.
be united.
Coming together.
Yeah, coming together. Other many challenges will be solved together.
United we stand,
yeah.
divided we...
We fall. And no one is also who have pity or who want to see you rising higher or achieving the vision of your organization.
Yeah, really.
It's no one unless you yourself you make a step.
I think
forward.
we need to think about it as a ladder. When you give someone your ladder to use to cross a certain barrier or challenge, it doesn't reduce you in any way. What you've only done, you've done an impact to that person, and that person has been able to move cross that barrier. Yeah. Really, you see, it's not like a candle or ice, or I would say it's not something that will end. You supporting someone else with just information, or even a network, or even possible funding, or really anywhere, any sort of like ladder to something would not reduce you in anything. So let's appreciate that more. Let's believe that, of course, also let's keep on the belief that we can be the change we want. Our voice can also be our change. Let's also take in consideration that we cannot always do everything alone. And we can also not do everything that is there for refugees. So one person will be doing education, another person can do livelihoods, another person can do participation. And a good example is, I think Relon has come up very well. Relon it's come to build, to bring refugee-led organizations together and to help them be part of that table. Other organizations as GRN has also done a lot of that.
So they are just
I think
seeing potential in refugees.
Yes, there's that, but it needs to be a bit more proactive.
Yeah.
Let's show that in love. Let's show that in more tangible ways. Say, connecting people directly, to funding, to networks, to capacity building opportunities, to support systems, to voice, to participation, all those you mentioned.
Okay, dear viewers, allow me to end up here. The refugee issues and challenges and what they go through, their resilience, what they are doing.
Yeah,
it's a big. We can speak about it the 2 days, 1 week, and it can take a long. So this is just a bit of what refugees are going through, what they are doing, and what they are facing in their life. So allow me to stop here, because we can't finish it all right now. We will come back. We'll be just having topic to discuss.
Yeah. Of course, I'm very open to that.
Yeah.
Just to say that, Nelson Mandela once said that it always seems impossible until it's done. That's my every time
statement or
statement, and I love that from Mandela, because we know the story of Mandela. But I think it's something that speaks so much to me, because like refugees are very unique people who face different issues. And if we started talking about the issues they face, we'd spend here the rest of the afternoon. I know. But
it takes long.
When they are able to start coming up pole to see that they can make a difference into the community, then that's a very big thing, and needs to be appreciated, because they're now starting to see that they can be self-reliant in different ways. That they don't have to depend on organizations all the time.
Yes.
They can influence the change they want. And the change that is needed sometimes is hard to achieve it. Very hard to achieve it.
But they should go for it.
But we should go for it. We should make sure that this change we want, we go for it really. Because it might feel impossible, as Mandela said, But until it's
done,
you will know that that's possible. So it feels impossible until it's done. We've been doing it. We will continue to do that. We'll continue to support refugees. I'm always open to help in the experience I have like over 3 years experience supporting non-governmental development programs in non-governmental organizations, and I love sharing. And I think that I would be able to share that with anyone who wants to be part of this journey. So, but to say it's important, and I feel I want to congratulate all the refugee organizations that do great work. They keep on doing that. The resilience that you show means that you want to have a better future. You want to have a future that's with more opportunities, a future that has more smoothness of how we can operate in a country, a future that shows that anyone can contribute to change. And that starts with me, starts with you. So big congratulations to all of them. Keep on doing the work you do. Just redesign what you do. If you find like whatever you're doing, even this is in the context of anyone also. If whatever you're doing is not bringing the impact you want, always go down, look at the objectives again, redesign that, and see how best to come up and do it.
They say you back one step so that you can come again. With
yes. And my friend, there's a friend of mine called Andrew Bosson. I invited him for an event we had in 2018, and he came in to speak about what it meant for him to be part of the event. And the event was to amplify or celebrate the refugees and Kenyans who are positively impacting their community. And he came and he said one thing, and which I felt like it was something big. He said that everything you see around was created. Say the camera we are using right now, the microphones, even myself, I was created by God, right?
Everything was created.
Everything was created somehow. Human beings have developed to be very intelligent, to develop things. And I think that looking at that concept really, you'd see that you can create something today, and that something can be the next big change that people wanted. So really, if you have an idea that you want to go for it. And adios. Thank you. Thank you, Botopa, for having me. Be appreciative to take part in this conversation more and more.
Yeah, we'll come back again. So I hope you will receive us.
Very warmly.
You know, we have many things to discuss about, to share our opinions. It will help some people. We never know.
Yes. And it all starts with conversations. Everything. You cannot be quiet and expect someone to hear what you're saying, you know? We are not designed to see what people think. We can only see emotions, but we cannot see people what think. So if we have a chance to speak about the issues, provided it's constructive criticism, constructive criticism, constructive feedback, constructive comments to different things that are there for refugees, and even for the host. I think we shouldn't forget refugees, the host also, the issues that they face. I think it's important to have those conversations. It starts from there, and that's it. I think last thing, for anyone who is trying to do anything and it's not working out. For me, I've done so many things. Some of them have not worked out. Some of them have worked out, and it's always a learning process, a learning journey. Take this from Nelson Mandela also. Again, I love quoting him because he's a great person. I also love quoting different people, musicians and the like. But he said that I never lose. I either win or
learn. So you guys, we can share a lot of, but let's stop here. And also, I would like to call for to send this call for refugees, and even Kenyans who value, who know refugees are people like them. They can work together. So please, if you have something to share with us, you can just contact our number, or also email us through the contact on the description. We will receive you, and we will give you a space, and you share your ideas and opinions on the matter, on the life on whatever perspective you want to share something with the world, and also for refugees mostly who want to share what they are doing. This space is open for them. You know, this channel has been initiated with the main purpose for giving refugees space to share what they have, because we realize that many people have a negative perception about the refugees. Yet refugees have come out, have shown their potential, what they are doing. So we wanted to change the narrative or the perspective, just using this platform to show the world what the refugees are doing.
Very much. Thank you for having me, and keep doing that, and things will work out.
Thank you very much, guys. Remember to subscribe and share and comment. We want your comment so that it will help us to improve next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.